I am in Canada looking at the OHM XU700 LS 15. This is a really great urban bike that offers regenerative braking, throttle mode, pedal assist. You got your fenders. There's optional lights that you can upgrade to. It's completely thought out and purpose built. You can see the wires are internally routed. I love that. The color, it's kind of this like charcoal look. Good for, it's kind of like a unisex color, something that's going to match and look professional. One of the things that I noticed about their lineup is that they have several different models of kind of urban bikes. This one's $36.99. It's a little bit more affordable, and a couple of the components are maybe stepped down a little bit, but for the most part, they're very high quality. It's got an air fork, so suspension. We've got sort of an adjustable with lockout, which is very nice. We've got this upgraded rack here that works with disc brakes. So it fits nicely in here. And actually the disc brake design on this is really clean and tight. But max load 30 kilograms, where normally it's about 25. The disc brakes are hydraulic, 180 millimeter rotors, front and rear. This is Magura MTE. Great stuff, great stuff. And there's a motor, kind of an inhibitor here on the right brake. I was asking him about this because sometimes I see it on both brakes, and they were saying, well, because ours has regen that's activated, not just cutting power to the motor, but actually initiating regen, they chose to put it just on the rear brake on the right, because sometimes you want to ride along and be able to just kind of slow yourself down and not worry about how it's going to impact the motor, and so they left the left one open. So that's cool. We got the bell, the great Bionics drive system, that I've reviewed on a bunch of other bikes and independently, but it's so well integrated on this frame, and the whole thing weighs about 52 pounds. This is the middle level size, 17-inch frame right there, hydroformed aluminum alloy tubing. It comes in 15, 17, or 19, so you really got kind of your pick in terms of dialing it in. And I guess I should maybe back up a little bit. Like the LS here, it kind of stands for this like low step or ladies series. You can kind of have fun with it if you want to, because traditionally these step through designs, yes, they're easier to mount and stand over like this, but they're also, nice if you have a skirt or a dress or something. It's not like pushing it up really high. So love that. I'm gonna hit a few more of the other specs. FSA Comet, bottom bracket, outboard bearing system. Tends to be a little bit stiffer, lighter, kind of a hollow tube there, which is nice. And then this aluminum alloy, I would call it a bash guard because it protects the chain and the teeth here, but it also keeps the chain on track. And then we've got this plastic chain guide that sort of keeps the chain from dropping off inwards and also protects it from the top. So it should keep your pants clean and everything. I love that. Well-go pedals. These ones are a little bit smaller, more basic, but they are sealed, which is nice. Again, fairly lightweight and just good fit that way. Up here we've got a Satori Elevation, and it's 30.9 millimeters. So you could update this with like suspension seat posts if you wanted even more cushion than what's offered here by the suspension. But the tires are actually pretty soft too. Schwalbe Big Ben, they're 27.5 millimeters, which is in between the 26, which is very standard, and 28, which is like 700C. So they're kind of that like happy medium that allows you good suspension travel. You're not going to clip your toes as easily, especially given that these have fenders. And it's still going to be nimble, but it's going to have better rolling momentum and a little bit more efficiency that way. So I like the Schwalbe Big Bends. Again, 27.5 by 2 inches. 2 inches being a little bit, it designates sort of the width here, a little bit fatter, and that's cushion. It's got the reflective sidewall. It's even got active K-guard, which is like Kevlar kind of lining. So Kevlar bulletproof vest, really sturdy. So if you hit glass or something, it should do a little bit better. Alex rims, just good stuff all around. And this solid, it's a 15 millimeter through axle. It's so cool. It's got quick release on the front. So I kind of want to do it. I don't want to mess up the disc brakes, but yeah, you can kind of pull it out like this. There we go. Look at that. Just whoosh. Just pops right out. I'm amazed by that. And when you put it back in, you just see how thick that is. It's very stiff. It keeps the disc brake lined up pretty well. Normally that's reserved for like mountain bikes and stuff. Whoop, there we go. Look at that. Okay, it's back in. I'm messing with this on the fly here. There we go. Okay, we got that dialed back in. awesome kickstand over here, Plesher. It's got a little bit of a bigger footprint, but it's just kind of a classy look, and it is adjustable in terms of height. There, so you can see on the back, there's sort of a bolt pattern down there. Love that. Yeah, plastic fenders with mud flaps. Kind of standard, but you do have, you know, a couple of support arms in the front and rear, so they're going to rattle less and just, you know, hold up over time. This company, OHM, they're a Canadian company and real near Vancouver. It rains and stuff, so having fenders is nice. And overall, just with the custom frame design and everything, I really appreciate what they've done here. We got locking grips up top. See the locker on the bottom. A little bit of a sort of a riser handlebar design, and then this Zoom Professional Series stem that's really it's at high angle, 35 degrees and 90 millimeters long, so it's kind of short and high. It brings the handles back towards you when you're riding, so you don't have to lean forward as much. Same with the saddle. This is a customized Velo saddle with this nice sort of grippy tread seat that's a little bit wider and kind of angled back a little bit, sort of sloped, so it's comfortable. You sit on this and you don't necessarily have to lean as far forward. You get a little bit of cushion, but it's still active enough because this wide part narrows out nicely here with the front. So just really comfortable, really thoughtfully designed, and, you know, 4 spacers in here, so brings the stem up. I think some of the older OHM electric bikes had like an adjustable angle stem. Those can rattle loose over time and aren't quite as stiff. And here's one of those SR Suntour NCX suspension seat posts. I think it's, you know, like an inch and a half of travel. Really compact and sleek looking. It's one of the options from OHM. It's like $130 to upgrade. And it comes by default like at this 27.2 millimeter, but as I said, like 30.9, so they have like a little shim here, and could just be kind of a nice option for adding some more cushion to the hardtail design here. It's just neat to see these different parts and the thought that went into the bicycle. I guess the final piece is the drivetrain. We've got a SRAM grip shift here that you can just twist easily. It blends in nicely with those grips, and that basically activates this SRAM Via Centro. This is the mid-level offering in the Via lineup for sort of urban bikes, and you get 10 speeds, so that's quite good. It's a nice range here from, you know, faster, sort of harder gear to super big, easy for climbing, and they're all sort of punched through, so relatively lightweight. This is a good setup, and the motor itself, I think it's like, you know, 10 or 11 pounds alone on its own, and the battery is about 6 pounds. So if you wanted to transport this, you could do the quick release on the wheel. You take off the battery pack, put this on your car. That would be pretty great. Kind of bring the weight down, makes it easier to do maintenance. Being sort of a hub motor driven bike, it feels a little bit zippier, and it gives you some of the advantages of like regenerative braking. So the motor here is a 350 watt gearless hub motor, kind of in the back here, by Bionics. This is the P series, so P350. It's got a little bit more copper than the S series, which was kind of the last gen. It's going to be better for climbing, but it's still going to be super quiet and pretty powerful. So, you know, I like it. It's nicely done. It's got kind of a cool pattern on it. It's laced right into the wheel. It's super durable because being gearless, nothing's really rubbing around in there. And again, it just really quiet and smooth. The battery pack is a 48 volt 6.6 amp hour, which might, at first it's like, oh, only 6.6 amp hours, but that kind of keeps it lightweight and smaller, so it fits into this nice frame design here. And because there's regen, it can actually go pretty far. So, you know, we're probably talking like 25 miles if you're really using the throttle and not helping out a whole lot. And we're talking on flats and stuff, but then up to maybe like 50 miles is what they estimate. Because this is so versatile, you do have several levels of pedal assist, and it's torque sensing. So you actually have to kind of push along, and then it enhances that feeling of pedaling. Other electric bikes that use cadence sensors or just only throttle, you're more like along for the ride. So this is a little bit more active, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good feeling. It's a nice ride feeling. Here's the charger, which I really like. Super small. It's like 1.5 pounds. Got this nice plug here. It's like 1.6 amps. Just real easy to take this along with you in a backpack. Maybe you've got panniers or sort of a trunk bag on this rack time rack. I like that. I might pop the battery off just so you can see what it looks like. You put the key in like this and then twist and pop. The handle pops up, and then it's real easy to just sort of like slide this up, and then you can see the rail that they've mounted to the down tube. And it is really purpose built. There's 3 screws, so that's, you know, 50% more than a lot of sort of not purpose built bikes where it's just 2 and they're like bottle cage. This is sturdier. Definitely feels nice the way they've got it. Here's the battery pack. You can see the charging port right there, the rails on the bottom. Yeah, and just being a 48-volt system, a little bit more efficient in terms of power transfer, and you get more power when riding. Okay, and then we got that on there. You have to push down this handle and squish in the key. There we go. Okay, got it. Sweet. It's always difficult to do these things one-handed, moments like that. Then we got a bell. So to activate the bike, now that we've kind of seen all the different features, head up here to this awesome display panel. It is removable. It's one of my favorite features about it because, you know, you just reduce the potential for vandalism or whatever if you have to park the bike outside. Fits in your pocket really nicely like that. It's powered off the main battery pack. So once you slide it in, there we go, kind of clicks, and then there's this power button top left. It does swivel, so you can kind of reduce glare. Hope that helps you there. You can see it a little bit easier. We've got speed. It's set for miles per hour right now, but of course kilometers per hour is an option. A really fine increment on this nice battery level indicator down here. And then we've got sort of a lights indicator. This bike is pre-wired for lights, so you could tap into this and do a headlight. And you can see the wires are actually already there for the rear rack. That's pretty awesome. And then you basically just use this plus or minus buttons here on the right or over here on the remote button pad to change your level of assist. So right now I'm in just throttle mode or like no mode. You do have to be going about 2 miles per hour before the throttle will kick in on this bike. It's kind of like a safety feature so that if you're moving it around and you accidentally hit the throttle, it doesn't spin out on you in the back. So that's cool. And of course you can arrow up through 4 levels of assist, and that'll use your battery faster but give you a zippier feel, or 4 levels of regen. And it's almost like overkill, 4 levels, but it gives you the ability to, you know, oh, I'm coasting down a small hill, you know, maybe like the driveway over here. So I don't need that much regen. I still want to have speed, but I want to, you know, pick up some power instead of just squeezing the brake lever. This gives you all of those options. And it's really cool when you do squeeze the brake lever, you can actually see that the display changes real time. And then there's this little arrow down here that says we're putting power back into the battery. So very intuitive. It's big, it's bright. There's, you know, kind of symmetrical buttons on both sides. And they've got some other options here: chrono, average speed, clock, distance, odometer. So yeah, kind of everything that you need there. So enough said. I think it's time to hop on the bike, take it for a spin, get that kickstand up like that. I'm going to take it out of regen mode here and maybe just start on the throttle. Let's see. So we're at kind of throttle only mode. The pedals, get it up to a couple miles per hour. Whoa, there we go. That's all it took. Just a little push. Kind of hear it. No problem with the power. I'm actually going to take it on the grass right here just to give it a workout. Woo! Join that suspension fork. very, very quiet. That's one of the things I've always liked about the Bionic system. It's just efficient, smooth, and that's kind of nice. You know, it blends in, especially on this bike. They have other Bionic systems that are bigger now, like the D series, and it provides more torque, but this is not bad. This is still impressive, especially with the 48 volt, you know, so sort of a higher power that's going on. And with the regen and everything, it's just a fun bike to ride around. Pretty good for urban. And here's my body position. Definitely digging the throttle there. Now I'm gonna do a quick pedal assist test and try to let you see how that responds. So, go dial it in. Whoop. Okay, going up to level 4. And you know, I am pushing now, and I'm feeling it kind of respond. Yep. So being torque sensing, it's a little bit more efficient and more immediate, because when you stop actually exerting pressure, it kind of drops right off. And Bionics has a special patent for that. It's something like the TMM4 sensor, but it's internal inside that hub there. So yeah, I mean, that's a great summary. I may have neglected to mention sort of the Ritchie tapered head tube. Again, just overbuilt, like in terms of the through axles and everything. Really solid bike. That's the XU700 LS 15 from OHM in, you know, $36.99, like 2015 bike. For the full write-up on this and other OHM electric bikes I reviewed, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.